Hey guys, I bet you can tell that I'm at a Honda program. And I'm gonna tell you I'm in Nashville, but you know what car we're about to take a look at? Yep, it's right there. This is the brand new 2023 Honda CR-V. And what makes this one special is that it's not the plain old Jane normally aspirated, but it's the hybrid. Yep, it's the one that gets pretty phenomenal fuel economy. So in this video, we're gonna do a bit of a walk around. I'm gonna talk about what they've improved, and there are some really interesting things that it now does in terms of both its drivetrain and towing, believe it or not. And this is the Sport Touring. So this is the top of the line Honda CR-V hybrid. There will be a program that Honda will be doing, so we will get to drive this sometime later this year. So don't get to drive it, but let's talk about this vehicle now. Of course, Honda has not yet released pricing, but this vehicle will be coming very shortly. And you figure the CR-V is going to start around 30,000, and then probably around 39 to 40,000 when you start getting into the hybrid. Now, what makes the hybrid perhaps the most interesting one is that it gets the best fuel economy. Let's look under the hood, because the vehicle gets 204 combined horsepower, and unfortunately Honda has not yet released pricing officially, so I'm guessing at that number, or fuel economy numbers, but figure the last generation was around 40 mpg, and I suspect that this one will do better than 40 mpg. And this one's running actually, so yeah, 204 horsepower, and really this is a vehicle that is Honda's most popular car. It used to be that the Accord and the Camry were the best-selling cars, but now of course it's the RAV4 and the CR-V in America. People have grown and fallen in love with crossovers. I remember when the first generation of this came out, my stepfather bought it, and if you recall, it was pretty unique in that it was like a tall wagon and it had a picnic table in the back, which is kind of crazy. So let's talk about this one. It does have some improvements, and I said one of them is a drivetrain improvement. And unlike the previous generation, the all-wheel drive system is now capable of sending 50% of the power or torque to the rear wheel, so you can get a true 50-50 split. Of course, being a Honda, a lot of the vehicle is about reliability and utility. And look at all that space in the back. Somebody has folded the seats down for me. It was very nice of them. And oh my gosh, I bet you, hold on, let's see if I can do this. I bet you I could lay down in this car, and I'm 6'2", and I bet that if it wasn't for this hump, I could actually sleep back here. Oh yeah, I could. Look, my head's not touching and my feet are almost to the back of it. So yeah, there's just a ton of room back here. And if you need to move a small couch or have a large family of dogs, this is probably a perfect vehicle. Oh, nothing under there. The regular model gets a spare tire. I think that's where the battery lives now. So I did mention that for the first time, and I'm doing this manually, I'm being stupid. There you go. For the first time, the hybrid is now has the option to tow. Not a lot, 1,000 pounds, but you need more than that if you're towing a motorcycle or maybe a canoe. Do people even tow canoes, or do they go on the roof? Now, one of the things that is a little disappointing is in the age of giant sunroofs, we're looking at a small sunroof. But I think giant sunroofs are expensive and they add weight, which makes them less fuel efficient. So you probably want a little bit less weight in here. So let's get inside here and talk about the interior. I do love the fact that you've got a traditional lever, wireless charging, USB, USB-C, which is great. And then, this honeycomb pattern was first introduced, I believe it was in the Civic, with these kind of cool vents, and now we've got the same honeycomb pattern in the CR-V, and I think that looks really great. Touch screen, which is also nice, and a digital display up front here. There's nothing that like jumps out at you except for the honeycomb pattern in terms of design, but it's just, a solid, straightforward, easy to use vehicle. And that might mean that Honda's demographic is probably a little bit older than most demographics, but there's something to be said for not having to, spend a lot of time trying to figure out the navigation or spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to change stations. The car is running. Big bold controls there, big bold controls there as well. We've got your HVAC buttons, which I'm dearly happy for. So you could sync them. In other words, you can combine the two, or you can have separate climate zones. And then fan speed, very straightforward, very easy to use. And Honda, thank you very much for returning the volume button. Now just get the tuning button back, and we'll be buddies again. For a while, Honda decided that they were going to do this weird slider thing on the steering wheel for that, and now we're back to a regular on-off volume button. How cool is that? In terms of cubby holes, tons of space. I like the pattern on the doors. Everything you touch feels soft. There's not a lot of sense of cost cutting in here, which is nice. And there's even little sprinkles of color, like right there, and of course right there and right there with the stitching, and of course the steering wheel too. The steering wheel is very comfortable. So all in all, this is never going to be a revolutionary design because it's Honda's best-selling vehicle. So what they're always going to do is they're going to do an evolutionary style, not a revolutionary style. Now, keep in mind that Honda has had 6 generations of CR-V, like I said, going back to the original one with the picnic table in the back. Over the years, this has gotten much more, a lot bigger and much more luxurious. Now, we do have drive modes. So we got Eco, Normal, and Snow, of course. So you'll note there's a distinct lack of sport. But then if you're buying this to do some sporty driving, you're probably buying the wrong one. This is the touring model, so this is the one that you would buy if you wanted all the bells and whistles. Let's jump in the back and see how much room there is for me. Now, speaking of bells and whistles, I love this heated steering wheel. What a great location for a button. Sometimes they're hidden behind the steering wheel. And then, of course, you've got your full suite of safety gear, including lane keep, and there's a volume knob. Oh, that's how you change. Let's see what that does. Maybe nothing because I've got the door open, so I shouldn't be. There you go. Oh, look at that. It shows you. So that's what that does. I'll zoom in on that. So let's see what we got. We got all-wheel drive torque distribution. Sorry, I'm kind of shooting into the sun, so it's washing out a little bit. Seat belts, maintenance, safety report, no content there, brightness, gauge display settings, warnings, power flow, range and fuel. Let's select that. Let's see what this thing's getting. So range, 401, average fuel, 229.5. Now that don't take anything away from that, because this is a vehicle that's been on display here. Who knows how it's been driven? So I wouldn't exactly use that as a metric for what kind of fuel economy this vehicle is getting. And those numbers will be released closer to when this vehicle is released. And then let's look in the back here. We're going to lift up the seat and push it back. Oh, I love that. Look at that. You've got different settings. So straight upright, kind of middle of the road, and then leaned way back, which is nice. I'm going to go lean way back, and I'm going to see how much room I have. So let's see how I fit. Plenty of headroom, plenty of leg room, and of course more ports back here for the kiddos if they're on their wireless devices and if you're taking them to school, which is nice. And I gotta tell you, this is super easy to move, just very light. That's what I love about Honda. They don't overcomplicate things, and they make stuff that some manufacturers try to reinvent in a classic and straightforward way. Sometimes, KISS, keep it simple, stupid, is of course the best way to do things. Fuel, there you go, look at that. No more little fuel cap. That's always nice. And I do love these black wheels, especially with this dark blue color. It's super nice. So there you go. This is just your first look at the new Honda CR-V Hybrid. I suspect if I were getting this would be the one I would go for. If you're going to be out there moving the family around, moving the dog around, moving your furniture around, you might as well get the best fuel economy possible. Style-wise, I see a little bit of Mazda in the front, especially with kind of these sharp overhangs. And I do like one other thing I want to show you guys, and this has been, you know, a contention of mine recently. Especially the Germans are doing, you know, fake exhaust. I believe those actually have, nope, they don't, they're fake. I set myself up for that one, huh? Let's see. Oh no, one's only fake, so that one's real. So that's pretty cool. And then this one is fake, so I was half right and half wrong. So there you have it. Well guys, thanks for joining me for this walk around. And be sure to come back to alltfl.com for more news, views, and of course, Honda CR-V first walk around reviews. See you guys next time. Ciao.